Hi everyone, my name is Will Tiao. I'm the writer, producer, and I play Ming in the movie. And I don't think I need to introduce to you...
You're listening to Screen Vision Soundtrack.
that person.
Agent Jake Kelly himself, James Vanderbeek. So we're basically here to answer any questions you might have. Yes?
How did the events in this movie lead to democracy in Taiwan?
Good question. So basically this, the period that this takes place in, we said in 1983, but the events that primarily took place during this period were from 1979 to 1985, which was the end of the martial law period in Taiwan. The martial law ended in 1987. And it was a lot of these events, the murders of these certain intellectuals, as well as the demonstrations, and this kind of uprising of a need for democracy after about 40 years of one-party rule and martial law, that and kind of all this simultaneously push that led to the end of martial law. And then 9 years later, you have in 1996 the first direct presidential elections in Taiwan, and then in 2000 you have the first change in government. So in many ways, and a lot of the people we depict in here became leaders in those governments. So very much this period, the late 70s, early 80s was a critical time in the development of Taiwan's democracy. Yes.
Why did you feel like this was the time to make this film?
Well, it was it was a combination of factors. I started this project about 5 years ago in 2005, and it was a combination of factors both in my personal career as well as for Taiwan. I at that time was kind of sick of just auditioning for all the parts I was auditioning for, and I wanted to start something new. And it happened to be that there was a lot of money from 2005 to 2007, and I was basically raising a lot of money during that period, and that helped a lot. And then we shot it in 2008, and then I think that now the timing is really perfect. I mean, given the overwhelming focus on China and America's relationship with China, and the fact that Taiwan is still the one potential flashpoint, military flashpoint between the United States and China. More than Tibet, more than human rights, more than any other issue that we deal with China, Taiwan's the only one that could lead to potential military conflict. And so I think it's an important time for Americans to be thinking about this.
Question for James. What was some of your motivations behind taking on such a politically charged and possibly controversial role?
Well, at first I thought it worked as just as a political thriller. When I first read the script, I was completely ignorant about the history of Taiwan and China, and I had a pretty good education here in the U.S. Went to a very good public school, went to a very good private high school, 2 years of college, and this is a section of history that I think just falls between the cracks of your standard American education. And so I read the script, I thought it worked, I thought it was great, I thought it was engaging, and my first question was, did this really happen? And then I was told, yes, it did. and not only did it happen, but nobody's ever really depicted this on film before. And at that point I thought, wow, I mean, what a tremendous opportunity to be a part of something that does more than just entertain. It's kind of the best that you can do as an actor. So I was thrilled to be a part of it.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. And I was wondering, from both a writing and performance standpoint, making a film about something that really happened, what sort of research both of you did? I mean, I'm sure you did tons of research, but like talking with, I don't know what the FBI was like in 1983. It was so fun to see like the walkie-talkie.
The big walkie-talkie,
yeah.
You try looking cool with one of those things in your jacket. Yeah.
Is this something people talk about? I don't know, because I didn't know anything about it either. So how it was possible to find all this information out?
I mean, in addition to just the basic research, how to enter a room when you think there's something suspicious in there, how to drag your gun, all that kind of stuff. the thing that really resonated the most for me was talking to people who actually lived through this. We had some of them on set. A lot of the seed money that made this film possible came from people who actually lived through this. And so to have them around and thanking you for doing the movie with tears in their eyes really made it hit home. And it gave a sense of purpose to the entire production, which really helps when you're at the end of a 22-hour day. You realize you're part of something that's bigger than yourself. And it really it gave it a sense of emotional gravity for me.
In terms of the historical research, we researched there are a lot of open source materials. Actually, New York Times, Washington Post, Pittsburgh Gazette, Ann Arbor Daily News, they all reported on these murders and the student spying that was happening on the campuses at that time. There was congressional testimony, there were congressional hearings on it, and there were a number of books written on it. So I basically gave them all to my writers, and I said, read this material, and my directors, and our poor director, Adam Kane, has to have read over 15,000 pages of materials that I gave him. And so the historical aspect was very well researched. In terms of the character stuff, as James said, I think a lot of it was the interaction with those who were there at the time and kind of feeling their, the truth behind their, like where they're coming from. Yes.
Yeah, I really applaud you for making this film, and I also want to know, did you face any opposition from the Chinese American community or people, even Taiwanese people who don't support the independence movement, or just any kind of because it's so controversial?
Opposition in terms of what?
Or just, kind of like not supportive or apprehension, I don't know.
Definitely, this is, as you say, a very sensitive and controversial issue, particularly in the Taiwanese and Chinese American communities. But I think that actually helped us. Every time someone, as I was going around basically raising money, like in city after city, if we ever if anybody ever said anything wrong, it kind of pushed those who were just